All right, so it's very important that you know the difference between binomial and geometric probability. Remember that binomial is that you have so many successes, let's say 2 out of 5 trials. Geometric is when you want to know what's the probability of the first one happening on the second try, of the first one happening on the 10th try. All right, as easy as it is, I know it does get confusing. So let's look at number 1. And so we want to know about binomial. So we want to know about how many successes, how many hits we have out of so many trials. So read those over, and do you see that the answer is D? All right, now the reason why the answer is D is because there's 52 cards in the deck, but you're given 5. So it's 5 trials, and so it's a number of aces in a 5-card poker hand. Okay, now let's go to 2 for geometric. This is the first one. All right, now they might not use the first, so you have to, what other words imply first? And it's till, look at A here, it says the number of people we survey until we find somebody, so that implies first. Okay, number 3. They say a company that sells battery claims that 99.5 of their batteries are in working order. Now they ask, how many batteries would you expect to buy to find one that does not work? So look over here on the side. I say the probability of something works is 0.995. So the probability that it doesn't work is 0.005. All right, so we got to keep in mind here that they have the word expect. And when you see the word expect, you should think of the word mean. Now they say to find one that does not work. So this means geometric. So this is 1 divided by P. So 1 divided by 0.005 is 200. So the answer to 3 is C. Okay, number 4. So they tell us that the probability that there is a free logo is 12%. And we want to know what is the probability of getting 2 free ones in a 6-pack. So hopefully you realize that this is binomial. And because it's the probability of x is equal to 2, it's going to be a PDF. All right, so you put it in there and you're going to get C, 13%. Okay, so the probability that the scanner works correctly is 99.8. Now they want to know, you expect, so you need to think of the word mean to find on average one that scans incorrectly. So the probability that's incorrectly is 0.002. Do you see that this is geometric? It's implied. So the mean for geometric is 1 divided by 0.002, which is 500. So that is D. Okay, 6, which is not a condition of geometric and binomial probability. If you're a little bit hesitant or slow in this area, I suggest you go to the book and you read it. I believe it's like the beginning of chapter 7. It has to be a Bernoulli trial. That means binary, on or off. They have to be independent, okay? So just because it's like a dice, all right? The dice is always going to be 1/6. A coin is always going to be 1/2. It's not going to change. All right, disjoint is what they have nothing in common. And 10% of the population, we're going to start doing that after the test. That is for independence, okay? And we'll talk about that. And so since 10% is for independence, is how we prove independence, the answer is going to be B, disjoint. All right, which were the following, I'm sorry, I'm on number 7. It's not a formula for standard deviation. Well, A is the formula for standard deviation. And for B, hopefully you realize that the square root of variance is standard deviation. Now, if you go look up the standard deviation for geometric. That's square root of q divided by p. And then we have d, which is the square root of 1 minus p. Hopefully you realize that 1 minus p is q, and so the square root of q, that is not standard deviation, so the answer is d. Okay? If the probability that a certain event of A is 20%, what is the probability that x is greater than 5 for geometric probability? Okay, so this is what I want you to know. Remember, we're dealing with integers. We're dealing with integers. So the probability that x is less than or equal to 4 plus the probability that x is greater than or equal to 5 is equal to 1. Right? So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. Here is x is greater than or equal to 5. So therefore we have to end at 4 because we're talking about integers. Okay, and why am I choosing 5? Because of this right here. All right, so this is what they want us to solve for. So I'm going to subtract the probability that x is less than or equal to 4. This is called algebra. So the probability that x is greater than or equal to 5 is equal to 1 minus the probability that x is less than or equal to 4. All right, so let's go look at this here. Do you agree with me that because it's a less than sign, that is going to be a CDF? So it can't be PDF. Okay, and we go up to 4, so the answer is D. D. Okay, if you don't get that, come in for tutoring.